answer the third person question, it's about you. Like we understand, if you are writing in third person, you are not going to be saying I am doing this, I did this, I did that. That's first person. You will be talking like you are telling the story, like you are a storyteller. Mr. Tano was is a Mandela Washington Fellowship. He's a yearly fellow who finished with 2000 and something sets. He's interested in solar energy, and he has been working in this space for 3 years, where he has been able to impact 500 households with renewable energy. So you are telling the story as if you are not the person, you are talking about the person. That's third person. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's when they ask you to write in third person, because they want to be able to post it on their website. So I will not work. So if they want to post it on their own website to talk about you, they want to say Tano is Kiniko. So they want you to write that for them, so that they don't have to be doing editing and all that. That's what the importance of writing in third person. So, is that okay?
Yes. Well understood.
Okay, so let me go to the next question. The first one is motivation. What motivated you? Like I said, these people, they love storytelling. So, if you want to talk about what motivated you, you have to be able to say that the real story that touched you, that made you to be interested in that job. You know, it's a role, it's a job that you are doing that is impacting other people's lives. So for me, I started with the fact that I'm a medical doctor, and from my experience in the healthcare space, I realized that people are just being wasted unnecessarily. Pregnant women, newborn, because of so many circumstances surrounding them, which are preventable. So because I've seen that, it's good to have a specific example. For instance, I met a woman who was on HIV medication. Because she was on HIV treatment, most people would discriminate normally. So when she was about to deliver her baby, people were kind of not interested in touching her as much. So she had a prolonged labor, and eventually they needed the doctor to section her and bring out the baby. But before the doctor will come, the head of the baby was out, but the baby was stuck at the neck. So they needed professional hand to help her to bring out the shoulders and all that. So they were waiting for the doctor. The nurses did not want to do it. When you give a specific story of how that touched you, let's say you are in education, you give a story of so many children that you can see that they've got potential, but they don't have the needed equipment. They don't have the needed support. They don't have books, they don't have clean uniform, they don't have clean shoes, but you're interested in that space and you want them to be successful. Therefore, you started giving them maybe extra lesson or extra coaching, or probably you provided them with uniforms, or you provided them with shoes. All those stories that we used to see, since you've done yearly, isn't it? So depending on your role, there are people that are just working in a sector, like somebody working in tobacco or somebody working in the government. There's always something, a story to tell that inspired you. What is your motivation? That was when I decided to so. I think you are following.
Yeah, okay, noted.
Yes, so that's the motivation part. Now that you are motivated and you have started the job, what are your impacts? So you now start telling the figures, the number of people that you've been able to impact, the number of families that you have touched, and the outcome for them, because that's how we are going to know that you touched their life. What are the outcomes? Ever since I started, children are able to attend school, attendance increased. Do you get? So if you're now to talk about your goals, can you see I started from motivation, I talked about the impact on those lives, the outcomes for them. Then I'm now talking about your future plan, how it will your what you are looking at in the next 5 years or in the next 10 years. In the next 5 years, I hope to so I hope to achieve so, or I hope to touch so this number of lives. I hope to expand maybe from one locality to another. Whatever your goal is, that will be the your goal for the next 5 years or for the next 10 years. So if you follow it that way, it's easy. Your story will just help you to navigate through like that, and you can be referring that to that stories as you write. It's all about writing. You have to know how to write. However, in conclusion, finally, all those words, they have to be there in your write-up. So let me see the next question. I didn't ask, are you okay with that one that I just answered?
Yes, doctor. I think I've got the glue. You start with a motivation.
Yeah.
You connect it to the impact and then your future plan.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
I've got that glue.
Okay, so let me pick up on the next question.
I am okay with that. I don't know about my brother Raf.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
That's the motivation to the number of people, the impact,
yes,
the growth.
Yes. Okay, so this one is saying that the Mandela Washington Fellowship value diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, and strives to include and support diverse identities and ideas in all program design and on all program design and implementation. How do you approach working with people who have identities and ideas that are different from your own? How have you used inclusive leadership to resolve conflicts? This is the conflict question. And achieve progress despite differences. I was looking for my application to be able to read through, but I could not even find it anymore. This is a very interesting one. This is the one I've really addressed so much in some of the videos. It's quite interesting, it's differences that makes us special, isn't it? Makes us diverse. So the way I think might be different from the way you think. The way you think might be different from the way Raf thinks. So that diversity is what makes things work. That's what makes everybody to be included. You can say I'm answering the question already. I can write what I just said. That diversity makes us special. It's interesting way of starting an essay. Diversity is a beautiful thing. It's something that makes us special. It also makes us to consider other people in the fact that I might think differently, my brother might think differently, another person might think differently, but coming together with all our ideas will make us to consider all areas of life, unlike just my own idea, that I might not see what you are saying. Raf might not see what I am saying. So because we all have various experiences and different views, we will be able to put into consideration all hidden areas. So that's the beauty of diversity and having different ideas. Now, as a leader, you want to welcome all ideas because you don't have the monopoly of knowledge. You have to appreciate the fact that you want other people to contribute their own ideas so that it can help the organization in reaching their goals. So that means you are being positive about diversity and equality. So you want them to feel seen, you want them to feel respected, you want their opinions to count so that they can feel like they are part of the organization and own the project. So you can then now give example, like for instance, when you work with so, even though you think you already have everything in plan or structured. Sorry, let me send this link to somebody because she asked this question yesterday. So when you want to write, jot down, okay, if you want to write about diversity and equality, now let me see that question again so that I can capture everything. Okay, diversity identities, isn't it? Include and support diverse identities and ideas in all program design. Can you see? So other people's ideas are important. Now, if I want to address that question, introduction of that diversity and ideas, and that, working with other people, working with diverse diverse identities and all that, introduction to that. Then I would say the part of the body will be like, I'm going to give example, isn't it? So I will look for the story that I'm going to give as example. Now, I will now apply that story and the introduction that I have done. So if I am like application of the story, let's say I talk about the story of you contributing an idea, Ralph contributing an idea, I contributed an idea when we're in the planning phase. Now, application will now be that if I was the only one planning and making that design, I will not be able to capture everything. The idea you brought to the table was able to expose us to this part. And the idea that Ralph brought to the table is something that most of us might not even think about. So that it can be thick, it can be special, you package it like it's special. It's something that we cannot even think about unless we have been in Ralph's shoes before. So because he came from a different environment, you came from your different environment, we were able to put the ideas together and it enriches our program design. Can you see how I applied it? I've said the introduction, I've said the story, then I applied the introduction and the story together, telling the impact of we working together. Then I will now conclude that therefore it is important to consider other people's identity and ideas when you are working with diverse group of people. As a leader, you should be open to suggestions, be open to ideas, be open to making other people feel seen, and have a listening ear. Therefore, so that the programs and the implementation can be rich and also go smoothly, addressing all important areas. So article like 500 words.
Yes, we've gotten it, please.
Very good. So should I go to the next question? Oh, that's the last question here. Okay, it's posting the next one. So based on your understanding of your preferred institute track of study, what skills and knowledge do you hope to gain from fellowship that you would not be able to develop through other opportunities? How will you use those skills and that knowledge to enhance your activities in your community within the next 3 to 5 years? Yeah, I know it's always around 5 years. Okay. Let's see. Because people come from different backgrounds, what I am looking towards might not be what you are expecting or what you are looking towards. For instance, somebody in the media space might be looking for opportunity to be trained and be applicable at the international level in order to gain more skills and see what other people are actually doing outside the country. Then the knowledge gained can be used to improve our own media platform in our local community. In our local community, normally we use this equipment, that equipment, but I've seen in the news and on different platforms that the setup in the abroad is different from the setup here. So if I'm privileged to join the Mandela Washington Fellowship, in this regard, I will be interested in gaining more knowledge in the media space, and I will also be interested in networking, so that I will have connections on people that can guide me and lead me in my career. So let's say more knowledge, number 1, networking opportunity, number 2, number 3, if possible, you might also want to, let's say, for me, I was more of networking at that time. Then I wanted to know more. in the NGO space because I was in the non-governmental organization space, healthcare specifically. And what they do is they pair us with people in the NGO space in the healthcare sector. So the school, they posted most of us that we are into healthcare, they are healthcare oriented. So they taught us everything about, non-governmental organization, improving healthcare, technologies that we can use to improve healthcare, other things that NGO can do in order to be profitable. Do you get? So they tailored your application to where they are going to post you. So if you are in the media space, they will tailor your application. You would have written about your job. So they will take the application and use it to decide which school they are going to put you. So let's say they put you in University of Georgia. University of Georgia is a big name. There will be a school of maybe media and technology, school of health and clinical, school of business, school of political something. So within the university, they will use your application to decide where to put you. Now, what do you now want to gain in that school? That means you must have read about the media space abroad. Compare it with your own media space in Nigeria. For me, I compare the health care abroad, maternal mortality in the US, maternal mortality in the UK, compared with maternal mortality in Nigeria. What are they doing differently? I want to know. So if when they ask me what I want to gain more knowledge on what they are doing differently that we are not doing. Then when I come, I'll be able to implement that to impact our healthcare in Nigeria. Can you say I put both of them together? Because they want to be convinced that you are not just going to play and you know what you are doing. So showing that you know what you are doing is knowing your own space here. If you are in politics, if you are in management, if you are in healthcare, if you are in technology, you know your own space here. You could compare it with the space in the abroad. And if you are privileged, if I am privileged to be shortlisted, I will want to learn more about what they are doing differently over there. Then I can come back home to apply it to improve our work, better the lives of our community, and also impact the lives of my co-workers. You've actually made a valid point why you should be shortlisted. So they want to spend on you. Because they are going to be spending on you. So it has to be convincing that you know what you are doing here, you know what you are going there to go and gain, and you know what impact you think you will be able to do when you come back home, how you are going to be able to apply the knowledge. So that's the knowledge part. Now you want to have networking opportunity. Now when you go to those universities, you meet professionals. Yes, you meet professionals, you meet specialists, you meet people that are more knowledgeable than you are. So that's a very valid argument for networking, connecting you to people that are more knowledgeable, specialists in the field that could help your career to progress. That's another valid argument why you should be shortlisted. So if I'm privileged to be shortlisted, I will have the opportunity to meet great people in my ecosystem or in my space that can help my career, widen my horizon, and also help me to determine what is next for me in my career. So that's an advantage of networking. Like we are here now because we met in one of the West African program, Yali West Africa. So that's networking, isn't it? So if we have not met, we will not be able to at this meeting. Another thing is they have supervisors. My own supervisor that supervised me when I was in Mandela Washington Fellowship program, we still have a relationship till today. She created a group for all of us that we are our mentee. Then she will have monthly meeting with us to discuss our goals, what we are able to do, different things in life, talking about career, talking about business, talking about relationship. She's wide. So she created that group to continue to follow up. Then for accountability, that's her word. She loves accountability. So you need somebody to be accountable to. So the networking opportunity will help you to probably network with people that you will have as maybe an accountability partner or accountability support. So just, you know what you want, you know what you desire. At least I've given you different examples of why you should be shortlisted and how you can put them together to submit a beautiful application. So is that question well answered?
Yes, doctor. It is well understood on my part. It is well understood.
Same here.
The writing people, you really have a very good opportunity, because they have different writing media groups, and there are so many fellowships out there for media people. So if you have the opportunity to go and you network very well, you will never remain the same, because the way they are looking for writers everywhere, oh my god, if we are limited to our space in Africa, we will not get anywhere. But when you are exposed, when that door is open for you, even from the corner of your house, one story $500, one story $800, one story $1,003. Yeah, I'm telling you, the writing space is huge outside our local environment. The writing space is huge. You just need that exposure. You need that launching to know your own value, because we are valuable, but we are wasting away in our corners. We are valuables, but we are wasting away because we are not exposed. So if you have that barrier broken like this, you will be totally marketable. So it will really be good for you. So have you posted the next question? Yes. So resilience, especially in the face of sudden change, is a critical quality in effective leadership. Provide an example of how you have demonstrated resiliency during challenging times. How has this experience influenced your current work? Okay. Resilience is a big deal because it's part of those things that made us, especially for us to be successful here. Talking about resilience, let me see. Depending on your type of job, let's say you are working for the government, or you are working in a private facility, or you are even a business owner, you know, our stories will be different. I am a business owner. I had my own business, and you know, I have so many stories of resilience. You know, things that want you to shut down and just go home like I'm not doing again, or maybe prayer from work, from your boss. I'm looking at different examples that can come out as your story. We'll still discuss the question. So it might be prayer from work, like maybe you have deadlines. It might be prayer from your boss. Maybe the person did not like you, but you were able to, you know, gain his trust. You work hard to satisfy him, or something, is resilience. Or probably you are starting a business and you did not prepare for the stress. Eventually you could see that is draining, like you have to be the one managing, you have to be the marketer, you have to be the lead, you have to manage people, you have to manage records and all that. It's getting too much for you, but you were able to persist. That's for business owners. What other example can we give? Government workers is going to be like around the same thing. Maybe you are asked to prepare a proposal, you know, but it took you time. You spend day and night to write the proposal. Yeah, it was difficult for you. You know, just talk about something hectic that happened to you. They want you to use an example, so you have to look for a story. What happened? How was it? How was the feeling? How did you feel? Like it was stressful, that you have to, you know, persist. That's, you have to be strong. You have to continue in the face of adversity. Is a very good quality of a leader. Now let's go to the question and how we are going to answer it. Introduction. Don't forget. Introduction. Resilience is one of the quality of a good leader. You know, in the face of resilience, a leader must that after you have written your introduction, then the story will come in. I remember when I was, you know, doing this, doing that, it was stressful. I was breaking down. I had to wake up in the middle of the night, or I have to go to secretariat, or I have to register my business. Whatever example you are giving, you give that example, how it was stressful for you, how it was beyond your capacity, how it was taking your day and night, how, just talk about how it affected you, and what motivated you to continue to persist. But when I consider my goals, or when I consider the outcome, or when I consider the people that it will impact, or when I consider the number of people or the lives of people that will change, or when I consider the how happy I will be when I finish the project, or what motivated you to resist or to continue to persist, I was able to continue and ensure that I delivered the project. I also have the support of my colleagues, my boss, and my family and all that, to make it rich and make it really look stressful, but you were able to persist in the face of adversity. So that's kind of, then you now conclude. Being resilient is not something that it can be easy. It could be difficult. Even as a leader, I find myself struggling. Conclusion, we are concluding. Even as a leader, I find myself struggling with the level of responsibility or the stress of the project I was going through. But considering other people and putting the goal in view, I was able to persist, and I had a beautiful outcome. Then you conclude the writing. So with that, with your introduction, with the story, with the application, and with your conclusion, if you want 1,000 words, it will come out. Is that okay?
Yes. Doctor, it is well understood.
Okay. So let me go to the next question. Nelson Mandela said, a fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world the better place we so passionately dream of. Public and community service are essential responsibilities for leaders. What needs do you believe are most evident in your community? How are you working to address these needs? Yes. So what needs are you seeing in your community that you think is really needed? The most evidently in your community. Then what are you doing to address these needs? Now, this question, like, generally will be different for other people, different people. So what needs are you seeing that is evident in your community, and what are you doing about it? For instance, I was working on maternal mortality, to reduce maternal mortality. It's a serious and obvious need that I could see, and I was working towards reducing the maternal and infant mortality. So if I have Stano now, his own work, what he's doing will be different. If I ask Raf, what he's doing will be different. If I ask Ganiyat, what she is doing will be different. So what is important is you are able to apply that role, the job that you are doing currently. What is the space that is bridging? What gap are you bridging? If you are working on a renewable energy, there's no light in Nigeria. Yeah, so you are bridging the energy gap, renewable energy gap. If you are working with the government, you are working in drafting policies to improve the life of the people. You could write something like, for politicians, people that are already gone ahead, they might not even know the needs of the community. You are bridging the gap by bringing the suggestion of what is going on in the community to your workplace, so that policymakers can address those needs. So you are kind of like somebody in between the people and the political system. Then if you are an NGO, depending on your role, if you are working on gender-based violence, or you are working in education, you are bridging the gap in education to improve the level of education of the children or the young ones. If you are working in the media space, you are improving knowledge. In fact, we have poor knowledge. We don't even do documentation. You see documentary of 1882 or 1851 from the abroad. In Nigeria or in our own country, nobody is interested in storytelling. Nobody is interested in documentation. Even when you news rooms, when they are interested in interviewing the government officials, they just turn it down like, I don't have your time. They are scared of scandal and all that, and that's impacting the level of coverage that we have. So many things are going unseen. If not for this social media that has brought everything to light, that is making us to see what is happening in other states. I could see what is happening in Cameroon, you could see what is happening in Nigeria. It's because of social media. It's not because we are really good at capturing events. So it's a huge space for media. So you have a lot to talk about. I don't know what space Ghanaian is in that I could give our own. So you just apply your role to what space, what solution you are providing, and how it is applicable to the community where you find yourself. So let's see if we have other questions. So what is the importance of applying for the professional development? Is it optional? That's at the end of the essay questions. So the importance of applying for that professional development is like an internship or placement opportunity. So it's like an opportunity for you to work directly with the organization of your choice. For instance, I was telling Raf that there are so many fellowships and so many organizations in the media space. So if you want to go and do internship with BBC, or you are interested in New York News, New York Times, you could put it there that okay. So let's say you are interested in going to New York Times for professional development. So they will make sure that they connect you with the New York Times to place you there for a number of, I think maybe 4 weeks or so. That's the advantage of professional development. So at that point, they will ask you, what organization would you want to experience, like live experience, you want to work with them. Let's say I have been eyeing WHO, World Health Organization, and I want to be placed there so that I can see how they actually work and the structure. So they will post me to World Health Organization. They would have informed them ahead, so they will post me there. So I'll be with them for 4 weeks, seeing how they work, seeing how they process. Let's say you want to be with clinical of technology. Let's say an organization that you already know and you want to experience how they work. So they will post you there after Mandela Washington Fellowship. They will post you there for you to work with them and see how they function, how they work. Everything that we have observing from afar, you will go there and see it live. So that's the advantage of that professional development experience. Do you understand?
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is understood.
Ibrahim wants to say something.
Yeah, I think Ibrahim, you came in a bit late. Dr. Victoria has answered a lot of those essay questions. She has given us a lot of guides on how to tailor writing those essay questions. So I don't know, but Dr. Victoria, I am appealing that were you recording this session?
Yeah,
so that at the end we will share.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah, Suleiman.
Okay.
Hello. How are you guys? That was what I wanted to suggest. That the meeting, could be recorded for the other people, for the other members in the forum, so that they can have access to it. Because not everyone, will be opportune to join the link. And that was my, humble opinion. But I think Suleiman have already, said it. Yeah. It's nice being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. So if anybody has any other question that they want to ask when they were doing the application now, this is the opportunity. So far.
And Dr. Victoria,
yeah,
I want to appeal that you please share your YouTube link on that group.
Okay.
And your Facebook and other, social media, so that whoever may want to reach onto you will have an easy way to reach onto you.
Okay, no problem. So far we've been able to talk about how you are writing in third person writing style, where you talk about she's, Ganiya Additional is a, or Sulaiman Tano is a, you talk about it as if you are telling the story. And we've been able to address so many questions in the application write-up, your professional capability, how it is applicable to the people in the local community, what gap are you trying to bridge, obvious gap that you see and what you are doing about it. We've been able to answer all these questions. So I don't know if there's any other one before we wrap up.
Well, I think for me this is okay for the moment. It's okay.
Okay, Ganiya.
Yeah, so you've
Ganiya, you
actually
can go ahead.
explicitly explained how to tailor the questions, but my own question is that some of these essays, the maximum word you can write is like to just to be concise and meet up with the number of words. How do you ensure that you do not actually miss out on the important details that might actually matter? Because take for instance, if you have to, you mentioned a part that when I was writing my essay for that particular question, and I know that my words were about 150 already, and they just requested for about 100 words, I had to delete that introduction part so that there will be more room for me to accommodate other things that I feel like, okay, it actually matter. So in the process of you trying to put all your thoughts together, how do you ensure that you don't actually miss out on important details because you are trying to stick to the number of words that is required of you for each question?
I'll say it
That's
is.
my question.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ganiya. It is good that you have all written out already. It is always important. That's always the first step. Not looking at the number of words. Write out what you really want to write. Then you can start cutting it down. Introduction is important. You cannot just start with you cannot start with story. You have to let them know that you see the question. So if I'm talking about resilience and I want to use a story to describe resilience, you have to talk about resilience first. Resilience is an important trait of a leader. I remember when I was there, you can start your story. You have to put a caveat first to show them that you saw the question. Then start your story. Talk about your story. If you have just 50 words, it can actually 50 words are enough to talk about resilience. When you say that introduction, let's say 20 words, Abby, you talk about your story. I remember when I was in a village that I went for a program. There was no light, no electricity. However, paying attention to the goal and the reason why I was there kept me going and I was able to survive. That cannot be more than 50 words. So you break your introduction to maybe one line, your story to maybe 3 lines, then conclusion to maybe 1 line. So write everything out first like you have done, then cut them. Introduction 1 line, the story that you use for example of that resilience, maybe 3 lines, then the conclusion 1 line, and you are good. It's not like they want the whole scenario like the house is purple, the grass was green, and the road was you don't have to do all the deep descriptions, but just talk about the trouble that you faced and what you were able to do about it, and you'll be able to reduce your writing to that 100 words or 50 words that it was expected. Do you understand?
Yeah, understood. I think
Understood.
Yeah, I think I have also learned, from a question. I've also learned a lot from a question.
That's good. That's very good. So it's beautiful seeing your faces, and I wish you a good writing inspiration because you need that inspiration. And don't forget keywords that will make your writing good. Joining words like however, meanwhile, for instance, or for example, in conclusion, all these joining words that will make them go as sweet to read. Don't forget those words. Whereas, for instance, conversely, like opposite. Although it happened this, however, I was able to do this. When I was my boss did. However, I was conversely, it happens like this. So don't forget those keywords that will make the story sweet to read, because it's all about writing skills. If you don't have the writing skills, go online, read stories, and see how they use those joining words in order to join your story and join the outcome and join the impact together. So you need those joining words that will make your writing look professional. Don't forget them. Thank God most of you have already started writing, so it will be easy for you to go back and start looking at them and then join them together with very beautiful joining words. So that will be the final advice.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay, Dr. Victoria.
Work of encouragement.
No
I
problem.
will not disappoint.
No problem.
Yeah, Dr. Victoria, we will try our best, and we hope also for the best outcome. Thank you very much. You have done us great thing.
No problem. So I'll put this up and put it online, then send the link so that everybody will be able to access it.
All right. So, thank you.
No problem. All right. Have a good day.
Okay.
Sit by your application and finish it. All right. Bye.